In this video we will talk a lot about set building, visual production, and after watching this video you should be able to shoot something like this. The commercial we are now looking at is from Schweppes, and in this commercial we have a woman that travels to the Mars and meet some aliens there. And what we are seeing in this commercial is a lot of use of set design, virtual production. These are the high-end productions. And we often tell ourselves, wow, this is amazing, I want to do something like that too. But is it really worth the effort? I will show you some tricks they use and also the problems you will have when you choose to shoot something complicated like this. What we see here is the hero shot. This is the shot where everything comes together. The VFX comes together, the set comes together, and everything just runs up, and this is the best shot of the video. This shot is a great example of what you all have to take care of when you're planning a shot like this, because here comes everything together. We have in this corner we have VFX. Then the next problem is she is moving, turning, flying. How do we get her in this position? Is she come in? Is she in front of a green screen? Is this here all CG? Is this real? And when we look at the behind the scenes, you can tell it's a real set. The woman is mounted into some turning device that has a 360 angle that she can move in every direction and is a little bit fluid in it. The actor is also a dancer. When you want to shoot something like this, you also have to think about, okay, I want to have some amazing smooth motion. Who can do that? Not every actor moves like a dancer, so why not cast a dancer that is the right person to deliver this performance? Now take a look at all the problems we have. First thing you have to do is, how do we remove that? This is a big problem. She's not in front of a green screen, there is no keying. That means we have to recreate her stomach in post and also the background to remove this thing completely. The next problem you see is when you light a scene like this, you always need references. But this ship does not have any holes in it. No windows, no light direction. We only have everywhere here this Astera troops that gives us some ambient light. Back to the main shot, you can see we have this one big window that gives us light direction. But it doesn't give us only light direction, and only gives us a glimpse from the location where we're in. Here we can see, we're not on Earth, we're on the Mars. We have this red tint, and this red tint or golden tint shines into the location and gives our actor her key light and a little bit of depth. Without the window, we had to repeat what they did here. Make a circle out of Asteras and put in probably at the point where she is now. This will also look good. The problem with this technique is, yeah, sure, it looks good, but it doesn't tell a story. The viewer will only think, oh, we're at a spaceship, but we have no reference point on where we are, what is the goal. In this shot we have everything explained in one shot. This is how the set looked from the outside, and the most difficult thing, as you can see, we have a lot of lights outside to get the right ambient in there. In here it's pitch black, so without the Asteras that are everywhere there will be no light at all. It will be really contrasty, but this isn't the look that we're trying to get. That's the reason because we have here big lights. It probably looks like an M40 and 90 blasting into a butterfly to give a little bit more ambience. Same thing as here. We have a few more Aries blasting into there. They wanted to get that golden look. As you can see here, we have one Ari with a CTO in front of it because they wanted to get that mouse feeling, but only this light would look fake. We need a little bit more of ambience that will also blast through that window. This is the product shot. And as you can see, we are really blasting with this warm light into the scene. Here in the back was probably a Bruce screen because it's easier to key out. And the trick that they used here is that this light was also on a dolly. They moved it up and down, left and right, because when you're in a spacecraft and the Earth and the Mars is moving, the spaceship is moving, you have a lot of parallax. That means the sun cannot be on a fixed place. That's the reason they are moving the light. This also gives the image a more cool look because something is happening, and it also gives a little bit more realistic feeling. So as I said, the shot is really simple. You have this big source that's shining on her back, and in front of her is probably a bounce board that gives the light a bit back to her face. Maybe from here is a little bit more ambient coming in so that she has a nice level and it's not totally black, because we surely need to see what's on the logo. Here is the BTS footage, and as you can see, the light is on a moving platform to give us this cool lighting parallax. And also, as you can see, they needed 2 people to turn the wheel, because over the day I think it's really hard to move a person around. For the camera movement, this is a techno crane. It's pretty standard in the industry. It's just a crane. They can also push in and push out with electronics. So you get this really, I would not tell dreamy, but out of the normal shots, because no human can do this motion. Only a techno crane can do this motion. It's often really overused to use this tool, but in this scenario it really makes sense, because we have this floaty feeling in the universe, and that's the reason why a flying camera really makes sense in the scene. Here's a close-up shot from the rig that I used to turn the woman around. You will notice this cover half of her body, and to remove all that, you basically have to recreate her stomach in CG and also the background in CG. And this is the point where I think, was this all even necessary when you have to do so much CGI? And some people will say yes, because it will look more realistic when you do it in real. You have a nice reference most of the time. If you want to have realistic VFX, you also bring something similar into the scene to have a reference point. And here the whole set is the reference point. But for me, who's not a CGI artist, this really looks like a lot of work, and I don't want to do it. So the next part I want to talk about is this part of the video. We have all the scientists watch the moon landing, the Mars landing, and this was virtual production. Virtual production will become a big thing in our industry. When many people use it, it will get cheaper and more accessible to a lot of people. But at this point, you really have to get the 6-figure, 7-figure jobs to do virtual production. And was it even necessary in the scene? We will look, what are the profits to doing it? So this is the behind scene from the shot. As you can see, this thing is real, but everything around it is fake. Many people would say, okay, this little thing you could build, but the big W in virtual production is you could make, for the price of building this set in the background, you can do maybe 20 3D version of it. So have still the option to change something on set if you like another scene more. And the best thing about virtual production instead of green screen is the reflections, the bounce. When you have screens, glasses or something like that, in a green screen they will not reflect. But this gives ambient light, it makes everything look more natural, and that's really the best part about virtual production. Took a look at the top here, we have another screen. This is also for reflection on our actors, and most of the time you will combine it with a big top light that we have here to get still an ambience, because at this time we cannot build a screen that's also completely full above it, and sometimes you need also a little bit more power. That's the reason why you have 20 by 20, more 20 by 20s above it with sky panels or something like that in, then gives the whole scene a ground exposure. The camera needs to be connected to a little bit more devices, because it will track the movement. So when you move the camera, the background will move with it. There is a gyroscope or something like that that takes the data from the camera, and they will use this data for the background to move. A simpler way of saying is, when you play a video game and you're standing with your character and you're moving, it moves with it. So that's just the thing, that the camera is now your Joy-Con or your character that looks in different directions, and the background moves with it. But with every amazing technique that it's out there, there are a lot of problems with it. I often heard already on virtual production that something is not functioning right. Then you have a few hours delay that makes everything even more expensive. So it's a new technology. It helps with a lot of things. It makes a lot of things also cheaper. but hell, it's still expensive. If you want to see more breakdowns, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm Marco Bagnoli and we'll see you next time.